Is a $130 greenhouse heater actually useful, or just an expensive way to warm the gravel? Welcome to RootInsect.com.
And today we're talking about the Dr. Infrared DR-968, which sounds like it should launch a rocket, but really it's a 1,500-watt electric heater that was tested in a very normal 10 by 12 backyard greenhouse.
That's what I liked about this test. It wasn't somebody pointing a thermometer at a heater in a living room for 20 minutes. This was Zone 6B, cool season growing, damp spring mornings, seed trays everywhere, and the forecast doing that fun thing where 34 degrees somehow feels like betrayal.
Exactly. The greenhouse setup matters here. We're talking twin-wall polycarbonate, aluminum frame, gravel floor, raised benches, a little bubble wrap insulation on the north wall in winter, and trays of onions, kale, cabbage, parsley, snapdragons, brassicas, the usual, I swear I'm not starting too much situation.
Which is a lie every gardener tells in February.
Every single one of us. But the key point is, this heater wasn't being asked to grow tomatoes in January. It was being asked to prevent frost damage and keep seedlings from getting knocked back on ugly nights. That's a much more realistic job for a 1,500-watt unit.
And 1,500 watts is the ceiling. People see infrared or industrial and expect magic, but that's roughly 5,100 BTUs per hour. Same basic heat limit as other 1,500-watt electric heaters.
Right, marketing can dress it up, but math shows up in boots and tells the truth. In a leaky greenhouse, heat leaves fast. Wind finds every gap. Warm air rises. The gravel floor stays cold. Corners become little freezer pockets.
They place the DR-968 on a concrete paver near the center aisle, with about 3 feet of clearance in front and space around the sides. I'm glad they mentioned that, because shoving a heater under a bench next to plastic trays is not what I'd call peaceful gardening.
No, that's a stress hobby. And they also used multiple sensors, one at bench height, one closer to the gravel, and another probe as a reality check. That's where the test got interesting. The first sensor was too close to the heater path, so the reading looked cozy, while trays farther away were getting the cold shoulder.
I've done that. I once thought my greenhouse was holding 48 degrees beautifully, and then I found the thermometer sitting in a warm little air tunnel like it had booked a spa day.
See, I'd blame you, not the thermometer.
Fair. Hurtful, but fair.
Once the sensor was placed better, the results were pretty practical. On calm nights around 34 degrees, the DR-968 kept the bench area around 41 to 45 degrees, but only when the heater thermostat was set around 50. That gap surprises people, but it's normal in a small greenhouse.
And floor level was colder, right?
Usually 4 to 7 degrees colder. That matters if you've got seedlings on a lower shelf or trays sitting near the gravel. Lettuce, onions, and brassicas can handle some chill, but tiny starts don't love repeated cold stress.
So for high 30s and low to mid 30s, this thing earned its keep. But windy nights in the upper 20s were a different story.
It still helped, but it ran a lot, and the far corners dipped lower than you'd want. The better setup was heater plus frost cloth over the trays. That row cover trapped just enough warmth around the plants to make the heater more effective.
I like that because it's not pretending one appliance fixes the whole greenhouse. It's layers. Seal gaps, insulate where you can, lift plants off the cold floor, use frost cloth, and then let the heater provide backup.
And below about 25 degrees, in that greenhouse, I wouldn't trust the DR-968 alone for tender plants. Hardy greens might be okay, onion seedlings might survive, but peppers, tomatoes, basil, no, that's asking too much.
So the verdict is useful, not miraculous. Good for frost protection in a small greenhouse, not for turning a drafty barn into Florida.
That's the honest lane for it. If you've got a 10 by 12 greenhouse and you're protecting cool season starts, it can give you real peace of mind. But measure temperatures where the plants actually are. Don't trust one sensor, and don't skip frost cloth when the wind gets mean.
And maybe stop starting peppers too early.
Thank you for listening to this edition of RootInsect.com, Conversations with Grant and Fiona.